turn it off lah. Okay, I'm live. Welcome to the stream, all one of you, all zero of us, all one of us, including myself. Sorry that we are really late. Welcome, thank you for joining us, Ruth Tan. Thank you for joining us, LT Chua. Thank you for joining us, Ping Dell. Thank you for joining us, Aneta Bell. We are really late today. We have 10 stories to record and we are really late today. John Lee, thank you for joining us. EP168, Banu 14, Liu Cheng Hock, thank you for joining us. Let me post on socials. Sorry for being so late today. Really had a lot of miscellaneous to tackle. So, John Lee, bro, keep up your good, excellent work. Thank you so much, John Lee. Thank you so much. Just trying to make a fixed stream schedule for the weekdays, but it's tough because have to settle real life first, and then after the streams, you have to settle real life stuff. By the way, we will not be streaming tomorrow. Tomorrow is an off day. And Wednesday, oh my god, we have so much stuff for Wednesday. I also do not know if we could stream on Wednesday or not. We might stream late at night on Wednesday. We might stream from 7 p.m. onwards on Wednesday. Thank you for joining us, Siri. Thank you for joining us, Susan Tan. This is TTS Daily. I'm Yi Yi. Really sorry. Very late today. I haven't even checked the latest news as of 4 p.m. today Singapore time. If there's any content that we need to rearrange. I'm actually sweating right now. I think it's because I took some medication. Having a bit of slight flu or cold. And we are live on YT and Palm.fun. Let me post on our socials on X. We are live. We are live now on T. Oh. Mm-hmm. Okay, let's just go through the stories. I haven't even went through the stories for today. If you're joining us from YT, U to the Tube, and Palm.phone, I could actually screen share with you. Apologies that I can't screen share for TikTok crowd. By the way, last stream, the FPS was really bad. Let me check on my phone if the FPS is still bad for TikTok. Francis Tan, Sorrento, Crayon, Karen Wok, FZA, everyone, thank you for joining us. I'm just checking our stream on my phone first to make sure that it's not 20 FPS again. Oh, it's not bad. Okay. I'm just gonna continue like this. Oops, what did I press? Oh my god, suddenly pop-up notifications and I pressed that. Alright, let's go. We are really late. Okay, let's see. Today it's the 29th of September. Any latest news that Squad would like us to cover? Anything that is breaking news today? Please let us know. I haven't checked the news yet, honestly. I haven't checked the news since morning till now. So yes, please let us know. Sure, we can cover this. There's a couple with kids, and they let their kids. Who's trying the? Man, this is why I don't like. This is why I don't like confusing headline. This pair of couple with kids try out new combs in the supermarket, and the way it's phrased, it's not even clear they tried on themselves or on their kids. Okay, they tried new combs on their kids. I mean, it's not hygienic lah, but isn't this quite common? I mean, probably not accepted nowadays, but I remember in the 90s, right, if when you want to buy a comb or brush, you would actually try it, right? In the 90s, that's how we do it. But apparently now it's 2025, this is now wrong and unhygienic. So how much times have changed? But I'm sure you know, right? Like in the 90s, when you buy those hairpins or clips, you also just try it. But apparently now it's deemed unhygienic and you shouldn't do that. It's just funny how times have changed. I guess this story is acceptable. I shall approve this story. Thank you for joining us, Christy, Heigi, Lifestyles, Frosty, BP Love Life Scene 890, Kim, Catherine Chen, Jack. Thank you for joining us. Sorry if I missed any of your names or your messages. What else? Man in Malaysia considers divorce after wife pressures him to buy 336,000 Singapore dollars home. Wow. Can he even afford that home first? So the home is beyond their means, but the wife insisted on buying her so-called dream homes. A house in Mont Kiara, Kuala Lumpur. The house is about 1.1 million ringgit, which is about 336,000 Singapore dollars. Man, how old are they? Wow. Please don't buy a house beyond your means. Any up and down slightly, your cash flow will be disrupted, and then might have to say even bye-bye to the mortgage. Thank you for joining us, Lady L, Chow Chow, Chim Suk Leng, Nana Di Coco, that's a cute name, Inasha Sen. Thank you for joining us, everyone. This TTS Daily. I mean, this story has a lot of social context and awareness. We shall do this story. Oh, I'm sorry, you to the tube audience. I forgot to paste the link here. Oops, sorry about that. Knocked into the mic. Yep, this is the story. Man is distressed and he's considering divorce. I really want to know their age. Like, I'm guessing this is a really young couple. Older couple, I think they wouldn't be so careless, They wouldn't be so careless about purchasing house way beyond their means. Mary, Anthony, Law Sun Huat, Roland, Goh, Mo Sen Ren, B, Lydia, Charlene, Ann, Lee Wei Long, Carl Baljit Bejewel, Ge Om. Thank you for joining us. Okay. So this story is okay. Where is my tabs? This story, it's okay. What else do we have? Youths spotted fishing dangerously at Marina Promenade. What is fishing dangerously? Desmond Chin Teck Mei, Ina Rafia, Sherlyn Fong, 我爱你, Saimi, Jamila. Thank you everyone for joining us. May 71, thank you for joining us. Let us know if there's any breaking news or stories that you like us to cover that we haven't covered. News stories in recent times. They were casting without even checking behind them. Wow. And they were illegally fishing at Marina Promenade. Let me get some water. My lips are really dry today. I can't find water. Never mind. Let's get this going first. So, youths illegally fishing at Marina Promenade. 24th September. How many days ago was that? 5 days ago. I mean, do we really want to copy this? Superboy Neo Shi Hub. Thank you for joining us. Okahe. Do we really want to do a news about youths illegally fishing in Singapore Marina Promenade? They were literally, basically, apparently fishing just a few meters away from the PUB's no fishing sign. So basically, they were lawless youths. And the witness, what upset the witness so much was not just this lawless behavior of fishing where you're not supposed to fish, but basically they were casting their lines without checking behind. And the area was crowded with joggers, maybe even children. You know, right? If you just cast without checking behind the hook. And then we have what else? And of course, some people are like saying, don't bother the kids, I mean, these kids are literally FAFO, fool around and find out. And PUB takes a serious view of such illegal fishing activities. What is the penalty? Let's see. First-time offenders will receive stern warning letters or composition fines. Repeat offenders could be fined up to 3,000 Singapore dollars under the Public Utilities Act. I mean, we could cover this. We have to do 10 stories today. Let me see how many have we approved. Beautiful picture. AAA Abang Fie Yong Lisa PPP Ma Hong Sui. Thank you for joining us. This is TTS Daily. I'm Yi. Say hi. Ask me any questions, because very soon I'm going to start recording and then I won't be able to answer questions, and I have a feeling I might be recording for a long time today. Stephen Lee, James Chan, thank you for joining us. Feel free to ask any questions. Sophia Lim, Annie, Sydney Boy, So Long My Friends, Jeffrey, Aroma Touch, Kit Kat Crumbs, The Matrix, Harleen Roy, thank you for joining us. One, two, three, four, five, six, seven, eight. We have approved 8 stories. I need 2 more. Chinese man caught posing as tour guide at Pattaya Pier. Thai news. Still considering. Couple returns to room late at night. Finds strange woman asleep on their bed. Malaysian news. This is interesting. Were they on a holiday? Let's see what else. I'm more keen on the unknown strangers asleep on their bed story. And then we have thief stuck in window, captured by residents, breaks down crying and begs to be sent to police. This is in Vietnam. Oh, wait, let me read this. Oh my god, this thief was stuck in this position. All the blood is flowing to his head, you know. He's been stuck there for probably how many hours? Yep, a thief in Vietnam broke into a house, got stuck at a window, and if you can see the picture I'm looking at here, let me share to you, to the tube. Let Chumi, Kiera, Ratna, Sheena go. Thank you for joining us. Sheena, welcome back to the stream. So I'm looking at this story right now. A thief in Vietnam got caught at this window, and this window is like a ventilation window, you know. You know, like those small ventilation square windows that we have maybe at, some areas, those really small ventilation windows really high up. The gap, it can only be opened up like maybe like 30 degrees, you know. Not even 45 degrees, and he was stuck there with his head pointing downwards. How long has he been stuck there? So he begged the homeowner to take him to the police. I mean, we could cover this. Sheena, go hi bro. Thank you. Welcome back, Sheena. Thank you for joining us again. I guess we can do this story. It's not often you have stories of thief being stuck at a window and begging the homeowner to call the police. So we can do this. And then we have the strange woman sleeping on the Malaysian couple's bed after they came back at night. Let me see the story. Where is that? Danny Wong, Poppy, Paper Kids, 吃喝玩乐 Gavin, Adeline 13, Ahmed O Tian 3. Thank you for joining us. I'm Yi right here. What happened here? Breaking news from Mothership. Groom 28 collapsed and passed away suddenly while dancing with his bride at their wedding. Oh my. Is this local? In Egypt. Okay. Let's just focus on the news we have first. We have a lot to cover. And this is the one. Couple returns to room late at night to see strange woman lying in bed. Happened in Malaysia, Petaling Jaya. They claim they have locked the doors. Could it be someone returning to the wrong room? Too tired, straight away went to sleep without realizing it wasn't their room. And it was a drunk woman, okay? I was right. The woman was actually a resident of the next room. So my guess was actually correct. She stayed in the next room. Somehow her key card worked for other rooms also. This probably reception error, you know. She claimed the room was unlocked. Ah, okay. So the guest locked the room, and then the drunk woman entered the unlocked room because the cleaning supervisor forgot to lock the room after cleaning. Okay, sure, let's do this. And with that, and James, Dennis, Tay, Meow Meow Meow, Mama B Smart Mila, thank you for joining us. With that, we have our 10 stories of the day. Let me get some water. Is there any water? Okay, I'm back. There we go. We have our 10 stories of the day. I'm gonna start recording real soon. Really soon. I'm just gonna check. Today's news are really chill, you know, nothing depressing. No, nothing negative. No bad energy. Today's recording should be pretty easy, nothing too stressful. All, you know, social happenings and news. Where is this? I can't see it. One, two, three, four, five, six, 7, 8, 9, 10. We have our 10 stories today. Which one should I record first? I'm gonna record the 2 updates for Singapore first. Thank you for joining us, Willie Ng, Amy, IJ Slashy, Kersia, Edwin, Apple user, Amy, Man to Duck. Thank you for joining us. Okay, I'm gonna cover the updates first. They've caught the man who sent pork to the mosque, and it is confirmed to be pork. They've caught the man. And then there's an update on the issue noise dispute. Apparently there was a mediation which the assailant didn't attend. So I'm just going to cover that too really briefly. So after that, is there any stories that we can really expand upon? Today's stories are all really chill. Nothing much that I could really expand upon. Nothing that I really need to deep dive into, I guess. The couple trying new combs on their kids in a supermarket is very brief. Kids spotted fishing illegally. Kids, not kids. Youths spotted fishing illegally at Marina Promenade. Very brief. What is this? Like seriously, today's stories are all really brief. You think we might be able to do more than 10 today? Hmm. We might be able to do more than 10 today. Betty Lee Art Nails, Bad Girl, Black, 123YC. Thank you for joining us. Okay, we are gonna start recording really soon. I'm just gonna start recording now and see how much can we cover in a day. There's a likely chance it might be more than 10. Thank you for the likes, Ida. Thank you so much. Welcome to the stream, Muhammad Richard Lee, Lovely Hidayah, Teh Ping Xiu Tai, Angel Heart SG. Welcome everyone. Thank you for joining us. So they've caught the man, okay? The culprit is a 61 years old man. His name is Bill Tan Keng Hui. September 27, so 2 days ago. On Saturday. On Saturday, he was charged in court with one count of deliberately intending to wound racial feelings. And he'll return to court on 3rd October 2025. Convicted, if convicted, he faces up to 3 years jail or fine or both. And preliminary investigations allege he was involved in several similar cases at other mosques around Singapore. So pretty good. Remember I was saying Singapore has extensive network of CCTV security cameras, and I was even saying that I'm pretty confident the culprit or culprits should be caught soon, be identified soon. And can't believe it, the day we posted that story, that day he was caught also. Super high efficiency. Love it. Good job, SPF. Good job. Okay, I'm gonna record this. So please excuse us, gonna go to recording in session mode. This is when my audio will be muted while I'm recording this story. But I'm just gonna do one check on my own. Moss. I'm just gonna check the name, because I didn't know he's called Bill. I'm just gonna check, is this really his name? Yeah, Bill. Bill Tan Keng Hui. Alright. Okay, good. And since we're here, let's check if there's any COD news that we can consider doing. What? Oh man. Yeah, today is really chill. I'm checking the other news outlets. There's really nothing much today. Really chill. Thank you for joining us, Blue Ribbon, Alice, Sun, OMG, Roy, Jamie. Thank you for joining us. I'm just double checking myself the latest news if there's anything we can cover. What? Suspended again? COD Live suspended again. This is breaking news. So COD Live made the news, I think 2-3 years ago, and I'm just seeing this breaking news here saying that COD Live now has been served a suspension notice for a second time after MOH checks on July 2025. So now they won't be able to collect, test, process, or store any new cord blood units until the suspension ends in a year. So no new customers lah for a year. What is this? Oh my god. Veso88, welcome back. Hello. Hello sis, welcome back. Breaking news, COD Live. This is breaking news. We have to do this. I mean, seriously, what are the alternatives to COD Live? I mean, a lot of people store their kids, children's COD lining in COD Blood with COD Live. Are there any alternatives to COD Live? This is indeed breaking news. Let me check CNA. Yep, this is breaking news. Posted 33 minutes ago in CNA. Okay, we need to do this. We have to cover this. Come on, man. Okay, let me just tell Don, Baby T Fuji, Chiba69008. Thank you for joining us. Shirley Lai, Jimmy Cook, thank you for joining us. So this is the breaking news. This will be the third story I'll be doing today. Shirley Vina since Maton Eng, Jet Jelly Kai, Willy Boon, Yoko Wang, Tong Mu. Thank you for joining us. Thank you for the heart me, Veso88. Okay. I need to start recording. So, muting audio in 3, 2, 1. Recording in session. will be uploading this quickly to the team as we are way behind schedule as always. What's new? I am way behind schedule once again. Thank you for joining us, Rockstar, Hardy, Mary44, DSK, Zeeling, Rizwan, Doris T, Bani Tan, Margaret Me, Veron, Zasa, City, Jellybeans, Claire, Joe, Shan, Wayfarer, Salbia, Gregoria, and Zansen. Thank you for joining us. I'm Yi, this is TTS Daily, recording at least 9 more stories, at least. So, wow, it's already 5, so be prepared to be with me until at least 9 today. Uploading this to the team. AMA, while I prepare for the second story. Can ask me anything. Welcome back, John Lee, brother John Lee. MH Lee. Man, wow, I really need a massage. My shoulder is cramped. John Lee, keep up your good work. Thank you very much. What is BT? By the way, thank you for the hard hands, Mr. Be Happy. MH Lee, enjoy your sharing each time. Thank you so much, MH Lee. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you for supporting us. We keep doing this because of you all. John Lee, brother type brown, no problem. So today's news are actually all pretty chill. The only big news I've seen so far was 33 minutes ago about the Court Life suspended again. I mean, if you have young children, you would know that nowadays, parents like to store their cord blood and cord lining at cord storage facilities, and Court Life is one of them. In fact, I think Court Life is like the biggest one. And they went into the news 2 years ago. They got suspended, and then now recently just have this news they're suspended again for a year and they can't take in new customer. I mean, honestly, current customer confidence is gonna be affected. Okay. I'm gonna briefly mention this is the what's the date? Tessie Kwok, thank you for joining us. Si Zhuang John, thank you for sharing the live. San Taizi Elvin, thank you for joining us. Fang Li Yap, EMI, thank you everyone. Mitch Peng, thank you for joining us. The second story, we are also doing an update on the issue noise dispute. It's a very quick update, basically just saying that there was a mediation set. The female victim actually set a date for mediation at I believe CMC, but the male assailant didn't appear. Let me see. Let me just check that. I mean, it's old update from the weekend, but then some people actually keep up to date by following us, and they don't really. Actually, a lot of people don't really they don't really read news anymore. They don't do news as a readable media anymore. They just listen or watch nowadays. So let me check this. This was a joint statement by the Ministry of Law and Ministry of National Development on 27 September. So Saturday again. So many updates and news on Saturday. Clarifying that a mediation at the CMC Community Mediation Center between the neighbors did not take place. That mediation was so the victim and the deceased, Nguyen Phuong Tra, applied for mediation on June 12th, but the assailant Ko Ah Hui did not respond to the invitation to mediate. The case now has been adjourned to October 2nd, 2025. So, I mean, it's pretty rare for the source of noise to offer to mediate already, you know. So that's all I can say. And usually, if the CMC fails, the next step will be the CDRT, Community Disputes Resolutions Tribunals. And the CDRT is a specialized court, and its orders are legally binding. So actually, it could have just been a few steps away from having a legal order on the noise dispute for the Yishun case. It's a pity. Okay. Eve Tan, thank you for the heart me. Thank you so much. Sorry I missed out the gift. We'll be doing the second story really soon. Just gonna stretch my shoulder a bit. Cram, man. Thank you for the follow. I saw someone following us. Thank you for the one follow. Thank you. Our target by end of the year is 200,000 followers on TikTok. I know it's kind of insane. We're not even at 20k yet, but we still have 2 months. We still have 2 to 3 months to get 180k followers. So we'll be, if you have any questions, just ask me. I'll read it after I finish recording the second story. Moving the pace much faster today because we have at least 9 more to cover today. So recording in session in 3, 2, 1. tube. And Pam Fan, thank you for joining us. Let me see. Belle, thank you for joining us. Samantha, thank you for joining us. This is TTS Daily. I'm Yi. Behind the scenes. We'll be doing this Monday to Fridays unless it's a public holiday. But take note, tomorrow we will not be streaming. There'll be no episodes from us tomorrow. A date with Melvin, thank you for joining us. Okay, let's check on that Court Life story. That's a tricky one. I'm gonna have to read it myself first. Okay, read it once again. So on where is the link? I'm gonna do screen share on you to the tube. YT. I don't see the link here. Hold on a minute. So a quick timeline of events. Late 2023, Court Life issued notice to restrict activities after 2,200 cord blood units in one tank found to be damaged. They were then ordered to restrict activities for 6 months. And then it was extended for another 3 months. And then August 2024, Court Life passes first inspection. September, they were allowed to resume cord blood banking services with restrictions. November 2024, they passed the second inspection. Apologies for the bell. And then the latest inspection on July 2025, the Ministry of Health actually finds serious lapses. And now they have been issued a notice of intent to suspend license for 1 year. So it's not suspended yet, you mean? It's only a notice? Let me see. Is it confirmed suspension or? Let's read the full story again on CNA. Okay, I'm reading again. Issued a notice of intent. So I'm guessing you can appeal it. So what issues were found? What lapses were found? Issues in collection, processing, and testing of 160 new cord blood units since January. And failures in governance, incident reporting, and management. Court Life has now 14 days to respond in writing to the notice of suspension. If not, the suspension goes ahead. Oh my god. If they continue to fail to meet regulatory requirements, MOH may assess and decide whether Court Life's license should be revoked. What is their license actually called? Not a good look, Court Life. This is the second time. Not a good look at all. Majula Singapura, hi gorgeous. Thank you so much, Majula Singapura. Reading our third story, the court life story. Breaking news. They have been issued an intent. Wait, what is this called? They have been issued a notice of intent to suspension. Notice of intent of suspension, yes. Even though court life has maintained its improved temperature monitoring practices, there are new lapses in operational areas such as key staff members left the company but there was no proper handover process. Leading to under-reporting of incidents. Oh my god. What other alternatives are there besides court life? Seriously, this is not a good look at all. What? So there was a failed test in April 2024. Why are we only known about it now? I'm confused. Let me see the timeline again. Oh, that was already addressed, and because of that, they had the restrictions extended for 3 months. Okay. So this is a pretty tricky story to say. Let me think about it. A lot of moving parts. Welcome to the stream, K Pinto. Um, Cord blood banking service for 1 year. Is it cord blood banking service? So the cord lining banking service is fine. Because I think they have at least two products. Cord blood banking and cord lining banking. Suspension comes after MOH found more new serious lapses in operations during a follow-up check, basically in July 2025. Court Life has 14 days to respond in writing to the suspension notice. If not, the suspension goes ahead. When it goes ahead, Cord Life will not be allowed to bank new cord blood units. Basically, cannot take in new cord blood customers. But cord lining, it seems cord lining is safe. Company must instead maintain the safety and quality of existing units, which I mean, obviously. Stored cord blood units can only be released for clinical use after assessment by a qualified hematologist. I think this means blood doctor, who must also consult clients on risks and implications. If Cord Life continues to fail compliances, its license may be revoked. And then a bit of background on their issues. And they just renewed their license for a year in January 2025. And now the new lapses found are actually basically new lapses involving 160 cord blood units collected since January 2025, where because key staff resigned without proper handover, resulting in incidents when unreported, units stored at wrong temperatures, and heat damage collection bags were still used. So basically the fault is it the safety officer, the new safety officer? Let me check. So it's because of one safety officer, is it? Let me see. Let me just check. They call him or her the clinical governance officer. So one officer failed to provide proper oversight and guidance. Wow. This is not an easy one. Would you call them heat damage collection bags? Basically what they say was collection bags exposed to temperature excursions. What is this word? Temperature excursions. What kind of technical jargon is this? I need to check. Temperature. Oh my god, excursions. What is this? Okay, it's when a temperature sensitive product exposed to temperature outside its specified range. And that might lead to it being damaged. Okay, so I can't exactly say it's damage. Can't exactly say it's damage. It has been exposed to temperature beyond the specified range. This is Cord Life, you know. Jin Long Wang at John Lee. Hello, bro. You are here too. Welcome to the stream, Jin Long Wang. I'm Yi. Thank you for being here with us. And brother John Lee is one of our great supporters who always comes in to encourage us. Wait. Not heat damage collection bags. I cannot say the word heat damage. I mean, heat damage with the bags. Okay. Must hire a new officer. Was this noted here? Let me see. Okay, they have been directed to replace their current clinical governance officer. So basically, it's because of this new, basically one new staff, one new officer didn't really follow protocol, but you could also say because there wasn't a proper handover. So, yeah, who's to blame? No proper handover, so the new officer also couldn't, you know, there was no proper handover. Come on. Okay, that's about it. I'm ready to record this. Just let me check the points one more time. Yep, these are all okay. Okay, I'm gonna start recording in 2 minutes. Let me get some tea. Be right back, guys. But I'm gonna put recording in session, okay? 3, 2, 1, recording in session. I need to chill for like 2 minutes before we record the fourth story. The court life story was so tough, so tough. Had to be really careful with the technical jargons used, because like, is it failure or is it considered a lapse? Is it considered affected? Is it non-viable? Have to be really careful with the terms you use because Court Life is a very big company. That being independent content houses as such as ourselves, many content creators will not cover such stories because if you make one wrong mistakes with the context of the technical jargon, you are looking at potentially a lot of unwanted headaches. So that was really tough. How many takes did that took me? Oh my god, let me see. 10. There was like 10 different segments. But yeah, parents out there, breaking news, Court Life just received a notice of intent to suspend their cord blood banking services for a year, but they also have cord lining services, so I guess it's only for cord blood. Raphael James, thank you for joining us. Thank you for the follow, user 6016682400917. Thank you for the follow. Panda King, thank you for the emote. Hairwind Studio, thank you for the Heart Me. Thank you for the Go Popular gift. Panda King, thank you for the Heart Me. Also wait for a really long time. It's almost 6:30. We have to keep moving. At least 7 more stories to cover. We've been streaming for 2 hours and we only did 3 stories. That is highly inefficient. Ragdoll Jewelry, I very sad so many bad things happen in SG. Recently, there's a lot of news in SG. Yeah, recently there's a lot. Some days there's like nothing much happening in SG, and then we can cover more news, in Vietnam, Thailand, Malaysia, and so forth. But recently, a lot of stuff happening in SG. Yeah, and we did cover the update on the Moss incident. The culprit has been caught, and also an update on the CMC mediation that didn't take place for the Yishun fatal noise dispute. Thank you for joining us, Ragdoll Jewelry. Thank you for joining us. That's why we cover stories that has, importance on social awareness. Our fourth story, Velhona168. Thank you for joining us. Kind of headache, Let me just see what is the fourth story. SG54321. Is there a special meaning for a necklace? Well, I believe in metaphysics. Personally, okay? Not TTS. I believe in metaphysics. So this help to shield, or would I say barrier, protection against negative energy, because sometimes the stories we cover, for social awareness, some of those stories are pretty draining to cover, especially so when I have to keep repeating them, telling the stories non-stop. It can pretty much affect your mood, so I wear this usually as protection. So yeah, there is a meaning to why I wear this during recording, because some of the stories, bad energy. SG54321, is it expensive? No, they are not expensive. So depending on your beliefs, your religion, and what you feel comfortable with, this kind of stuff for protection, they can be very affordable. Of course, you can go for higher quality, but even if you buy, if you buy more affordable or more expensive, they have the same protection and benefits. That's all. So you don't really have to go for the most expensive one, and mine are definitely not the expensive. Mine are definitely not the expensive one. Some people might go for those with certificates and all that certain grades, but no, I just buy it for the benefits. But of course, it depends on yourself whether can you feel such energy, do you believe in it or not. So this is really in the realm of metaphysics. If TTS actually grow and grow and grow bigger and bigger, I love to cover conspiracy theories. That is already the realm of metaphysics and all those, UFOs and such. Thank you for joining us, Ken Leong. Thank you for joining us, Whimsical Wonders. Thank you for joining us, Taki Lim Mumu. Mumu Lao Ta, I didn't know you're here. Thank you for joining us. Okay, so the fourth story. The fourth story, what should we do? Let's cover something from Malaysia. We already covered 3 in Singapore already. Let's cover something from Malaysia. This is pretty chill. Couple tries new combs on their children in supermarket and they get slammed online for doing so. But I was saying in the 90s, everyone is like doing that, testing combs in the store or brushes. But I mean, times have changed, I guess we weren't just so hygiene conscious in the 90s, I guess. For SG54321, do you think will Grab driver be replaced? Replaced by, you mean like AI, right? I think there was someone, I think a minister reported something like, Grab drivers or private hire vehicle drivers will not be replaced by autonomous vehicles in the near future. I think meaning like in the next 5 or 10 years. I think that's what they were saying. So I mean, in the short term future, they should be safe, but as autonomous vehicles get cheaper and cheaper to develop, so you should know, as these autonomous vehicles get cheaper and cheaper to develop, we just have to be ready for this kind of changes because, for now, the production cost is going to get cheaper and cheaper. So, as you should know, the future with AI is progressing really fast. So, let's just say a year ago, people were thinking prompt engineers would be a very good job scope for the future, because it's very hard to handle AI. But let's just say now, from how we see things now, prompt engineers aren't exactly looking that great as a potential job path in the future because AIs could be better prompt engineers than humans. So let me just get back to the fourth story. So this couple with kids and also this Malaysian man that considers divorce after his wife keep pressurizing him to buy this house in KL that costs 1.1 million ringgit. There's about 336,000 Singapore dollars. I guess we'll cover these two first. Something more chill, and then after that, what should we do? Or should we cover the China one first? Which one should we do for our fourth story? I mean, we just did the court life. The fourth story should be... No, what should be the last story? Let me take a look. Okay, we did 3 SG. Then we're gonna do the 2 Malaysia one. No, actually, the man that considers divorce, I shall make it the last story of the day. So, okay, so there'll be 3 Malaysia stories. There'll be 1 more SG story. I shall put that. So it's gonna be 3 SG, 3 Malaysia, and then let me see. The 6, then the 7 is the Vietnam story. And then 1 China story. followed by the 9 stories SG, and the last one is the Malaysia one. Is that how we're gonna go? SG54321, thanks for answering. Got to go by. Have a good day, SG54321. Come back soon. Thank you for joining us. TTS Daily Life. I'm Yi. We've recorded 3. I'm trying to decide the order of the content for long form. We have in total 4 SG stories. I'm gonna keep that near to the end. I wanna do the China one. We have a lot of China stories here. Wait, we have a lot of China stories here. Oh my god. Okay, I'm gonna the comb story I'm gonna skip. The China story seems more important. Lacy Sesame, thank you for the rose. Thank you for the gift. I'm gonna let me just check the China story. Okay, we can do one Malaysia story. I mean 2. I'm kind of lost. Wait. I'm gonna untick this. And untick this. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So which means I can take on a child accidentally falls into a high-speed rail platform gap. This news happens quite frequently in China, honestly. Should we cover it again? It's a pretty common accident that seems to happen in China always, because kids be running around at the platform in China quite often. I don't think we need to cover this. I mean, this instance happened too many times. We're not going to be covering that. So no. So let me take a look. Okay, so as of now, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay, we have 10 stories. One, two, three, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Oh my god, my stomach is growling. Is there anything to eat? Oh, what should be our 4th story? The Vietnam one or the Malaysia? Let me think. We still have an SG story. Let's do the Vietnam one. It's all on, huh? Oh, yeah, I don't want this. I don't want all carbo. What should be our 4th story? is the problem? I can't even see anything. Mm. Welcome back. Welcome to the stream. Guys, you can ask me anything. Sorry, I'm a bit quiet because I'm confused by this layout. I can't decide the fourth story. We have 10, I believe. But I'm just arranging the layout for the long form, our YT long form. By the way, we post you to the Tube long form daily. That is our best way to monetize ourselves. Would appreciate if you all give us a follow and also catch us on Y to the T, U to the Tube. Okay, I definitely want something light. I'm gonna do the Vietnam one. The Vietnam story. One, two, three, four, five, six, seven, eight, nine, 10. After the Vietnam story, we do the okay, Vietnam, 3 China, 1 SG, 2 Malaysia. Is that a bit confusing that the order went that way? I think it's okay. It's a bit confusing that the region wise it went Singapore, Vietnam, China, Singapore, Malaysia. How should the order of the should I put all the Singapore stories together? But that's what we've been doing. Let me try a different layout of the content for the long form. Thank you for the likes. Thank you so much. We're gonna record the fourth story. And we barely cover stories from Vietnam, so let's take a look. How is the response? Very simple story. Just wanted something light. Okay, so we'll be going to recording in 3, 2, 1. That would have to suffice. Okay, let me just save this and upload this. Then we can proceed to our three China stories. Eileen, thank you for the hug me. Thank you for joining us. Thank you for joining us, Mount Fuji Cutie How. Thank you for joining us. Have your had your dinner? I haven't had mine. Did I have lunch today? Let me think. Did I had lunch? No, I didn't. Magic YY, thank you for joining us. Okay, our fifth story. We have three China stories. I'm gonna cover all three together for story 5, 6, 7. And then it'll be a Singapore story followed by two Malaysia story. I shall put a Malaysia story as the last story of the day. Thank you for the 10 TikToks, Mr. Be Happy. So, story 5. Wait. We have three China stories. Which shall we cover first? China grandma mistakenly uses alcohol instead of water to make milk. Oh no. You usually have to boil the water. So if you boil the alcohol, but it's still dangerous. Yep. Baby, what happened to the baby? Oh no, is the baby safe? Like, okay, the baby looks to be not in a pretty good shape from this picture. Let me take a look. Baby sent to hospital in a daze. Oh my god. You know, it can baby very young children very easy to get alcohol poi to the zen to the ning, and the baby was only 1 month old. Oh my god, that's insane. 120 milliliter bottle of milk. So how much of it was alcohol? Oh my god. No wonder. You know, that's what I feared. They actually reuse bottles of mineral water and filled it with. I think it's better to say the word wine than L to the core to the hall for TT algorithm's sake. If not, they're gonna, tag me with violation, like, saying such words. Oh my god. So the baby finished the whole bottle. Oh my god, the baby finished the whole bottle. It's insane, okay? What the. Oh my god. Okay, let's do this. This is insane. This story is insane. Okay, we're gonna go do this story. This story is insane, man. Baby is really lucky to be alive, to be honest. Oh my god. Okay, we're gonna go into recording and session. So be right back. 3, 2, 1, recording. We need to move. We need to move. Thank you for the follow, Jaden Lim. Welcome to the stream. Thank you for joining us. Harris, VV88 Lim. Welcome back again. Thank you for joining us, VV88 Lim. And thank you for the likes, everyone. Like I was saying, story 5, just one take. Could be better, but we don't have time. We need to move on. We are late. It's already 7 p.m. So I'm just gonna try to be happy with that one take. Honestly, I really want to do a second take, but never mind. Let's post this and then no post, upload to the team. Is there a more algorithm friendly word instead of alcohol? Because I'm afraid I keep saying the word alcohol.